There is a dark, desperate, and despairing side to mysticism. If you live by the experience, you will die by the experience. Trusting a secret part of your insides that says God is close also means trusting that secret part of your insides that says God is far away. Ooh, so true. There are times when worship isn't moving, when the Spirit isn't felt. There are times when you are not swept away, and these times are frightful. I'm going through a drought. I'm in the desert. I've lost my passion. I feel far from God. I've come down off the mountaintop, and I'm in the valley. The highs are very high, and the lows are frightfully low. Yeah, again, what's lacking there is any external anchor, any word or sacrament by which one can grasp hold of. So of a tragedy that's kind of taken place, I don't even know if it's over the last few years, at least I've noticed it there, sort of these celebrity figures in the church, whether they're celebrity pastors or celebrity worship leaders, falling away from the faith. And of course these gain a lot of attention. And in passing, I've read a lot of the explanations that pastors and worship leaders have written, and most of them are right here. Most of them are, I don't feel it anymore. So you can see then like the dark, desperate, despairing side to mysticism and the way that Satan will use this. Like he'll have you flying high and feeling God and everything's great, and then all of a sudden that goes away and you can't come to any other conclusion except, well, I've lost that feeling, I've lost God, I've lost my faith, and off you go. So this is a kind of teaching that has a real strong pull ultimately toward apostasy when the feeling goes away, or when you realize that the feeling is manufactured. I've had that opportunity to talk with a couple of musicians who have played for worship services in contemporary American Christianity, and they've said, I walked away from the church precisely because it realized it was a show, and I was part of that, and the attention was on me, not Christ, on the music, not the word or sacraments. And once I realized that, I couldn't have anything to do with it anymore. So this is a big deal, maybe especially for our 40s and younger, something like that. All of this is not saying that emotions are unimportant. Emotions are great. They're gifts of God. We just don't want to let the emotions get out of bounds, go beyond their use. Emotions are not the way in which we connect with God. Rather, they're the result of God connecting with us through His Word and Sacrament. And then we experience emotions sometimes, or frankly, sometimes we don't, and that's okay too. One of the most exhausting things about church can be, if you're truly receiving God, then you're going to experience these emotions, and so there's this constant pressure to have these emotions and have this experience. Can't you just go to church, receive the gifts of God, and feel emotionally absolutely flat? Is that okay? Absolutely, that's okay. Can you even receive the gifts of God and feel tired or exhausted or sad? Absolutely, that's okay. Can you exult and rejoice and want to clap your hands and shout for joy and spread the word? Absolutely you can. And we do. So what a proper biblical theology does is sets God outside your emotions and then allows your emotions to be what they are. And to be free to feel those emotions, experience those emotions, knowing that God is not identical to those emotions. Yeah. So a beautiful, freeing thing. So we don't want to take away, we don't want to negate emotions. They're super important. God gave them to us. But we want to keep them in their proper bounds. We do the same thing with reason and rationality. If we go too much with our reasonable, rational, scientific minds into the Scriptures, we're going to ruin them. We're going to end up where 20th century higher criticism ended up, where you don't frankly believe that Jesus said anything He's purported to have said. That's where rationalism gets you. So we want to stay, that doesn't mean we get rid of reason. We just put it subservient to the Word of God. We don't get rid of emotion. We just realize the proper role and place of emotion. The other thing we might talk about is, I think in popular parlance, within the broader tent of Christianity, so to speak, mysticism tends to mean something more like ecstatic experience or something like that. maybe seeing visions or dreaming dreams or feeling a great inner peace or feeling the presence of God being really close to you or something like this. Whatever that whole thing is. And I think it's important to realize that we don't simply throw that baby out with the bathwater either. We don't say there's no role or place for any of that within Christendom. Again, we want to see those things as rightly ordered, and so that those things which may be effects of the Word and sacraments of God don't rather replace the Word and sacraments of God. I think that that's key.